All right. So today I'm doing something a bit different. I've been trying to get myself into Gutenberg and what they call the future of WordPress. And at the moment, if you've ever tried Gutenberg on its own, uh, it's a little messy. Things are not where they should be. So a lot of people are not really trying to invest their time into Gutenberg. But there are things that they call toolkits and other builders that you can incorporate with Gutenberg to give it even much more power. Just like how you incorporate a builder like Breakdance, Elementor, Breezy, Divi into WordPress to give it power. So are toolkits that you can add to Gutenberg to give it power. So today, I want to take you through, I've been learning quickly. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've been learning this for a minute and I wanted to show you some way or how to create a header, because creating a header in Gutenberg is a bit of work, but with a toolkit like Cwicly, you will be able to create it even much more faster and make it the way that you want it to be. So I'm going to show you the very basic way of creating a header, and then we're going to see how it looks. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is to head into WordPress. So I have a local environment over here, and things that you need is you have to purchase Cwicly. After purchasing it, you have two things. You have a builder, a plugin, and also a theme. You have to install the theme and the theme appearances, and then you also have to install the plugin. Those are the two things that you need to make this really work if you want to use Cwicly. All right, so after doing that, the first thing that you might want to do is to do a few settings. We are not going to touch on settings today, but we're going to do what most people will do, is to create a header for your website. So let's see how you're going to go about creating that. So after getting it into the back end, you'll see that after installing the two things, you see Cwicly over here. Over here, you can click on theme. When you click on theme, it will bring you to something like this. When you get here, what you want to do is what they have, parts or global part. When you click on parts, it's going to send you into this. You're going to see something like this. Don't get scared. It's pretty cool. Over here, you see two options. You have a footer and then you have a header. What we are going to do today is to create a header. So to do that, I'm just going to click on header. As soon as you click on that, you will see something like this. You might not see some of the things that I do see them because I have tweaked things a little bit, but you might not see what they call navigator. For you to get a navigator, you can either use Gutenberg's navigator, or you can use what comes with Cwicly, which is pretty neat. So you use that one. So it is this. When you click on this, you are going to see a navigator. Yours might be popped out. Mine is docked to the left. So you can also dock it to the right, or you can dock it to the left. I think the left is good for me. So that's what I did. After doing this, it is now time for us to create our header. Mostly it is the same if you're using any form of page builder, but there is a little tweak here and there. So I'm going to go into my my design over here. So there's a design that I have. So in this design, we have a few things. We have a logo, we have these menu items, and then we have a button over here. All right, so that's what we're going to try and do. So the first thing to do is to add a section. So to add a section, you see these green light green thing. You can click on this, and over here you're gonna have a few options. So we're gonna select section. As soon as you click on section, it will show on the canvas that you have. So after doing that, sections, they come with predefined patterns and other stuff like that. I want to remove that. So make sure your section is selected, as you can see on the left hand side, and then come to the right hand side, you are going to see primary, design, and advanced. What you want to click on is design. So after clicking on design, you're going you try and find margin and pattern. So I'm going to click on that. After doing that, you see when I hover on it, you can see we have a few lines over there. I'm just going to click on 0. All right, so it removes all the pattern that we have. The next thing to do is to have what they call the size. So what size do we want this section to be? You can make the section full width. You can also give it more like a box fill. So what we want, I'm going to go back into my design. My design is 1200. So I'm going to type in 1200 pixels over here. That is good for me. You might want to use something else, but that is what I'm going to use. We can make it, you can make it 1200. That is good. So I've done 1200. The next thing that I am going to do is to start inputting my values. But before that, I am going to give my section an ID. So I'm going to call it header underscore section. And then I'm going to copy that and then paste it over here. All right, so the class and the ID can have the same name. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. So that's what I did. And I'm going to go back into primary. In primary, I'm going to make sure that I have my semantics. Having good semantics for your sections are good. So I'm going to click here and then give this one a header so that it is good for SEO and other stuff like that. So make sure you do that if you want that. The next thing that I'm going to do is to have my color. You can see this has a color. I'm going to click here and then copy this color. So color has been copied. And for the section, make sure your section is still selected. I'm going to paste what we have over here. So I've pasted it over there. It says not even working for whatever reason. We're going to choose a color here and then paste this and click enter. So it's there, but you don't see because everything the height is 0. So the next thing that I need to do is to input my assets. All right, so I'm going to open this, even though close that. All right, so these are assets that I need. I'm going to import these assets. I'll go back in here, and then what I want to do is to save this and then start adding my images and my menu items so that we can add it to the frame. All right, so still selected, click on this, and then what we need is an image. All right, so when you type in image, you're going to see a lot of images over here. What we need is the image by Cwicly. The one by Cwicly, you can see it has this sign on it. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to click on that. When you click, it comes out of the section. You can just drag it to the right and then it will fall into the section. All right, that is good. So that has been added. The next thing that I want to add is my menu list. So I can go back over here and then type in menu. Then I'm just going to click on that and then I'm just going to shift it to the right hand side. That is good. The next thing that I need is a button. So type in button and then pick the one by Cwicly. Button. All right, so you see the button just entered into that frame. All right, so we have a few things over here, but as you can see, this is stacked on each other. We want it to be more like a row frame. So what I'm going to do, make sure you select your section, and then you go to design. In design, you want to look for something called layout. So click on layout and click on flex. So as soon as you click on flex, you can everything which like that. You want it to be a row, you want it to be centered, and then you want it to be spaced in between. One thing that I also have to do is when I go back into Figma, you can see that this one is skewed to the right and this one is on the left hand side. You can see that these things are grouped together. So to do that, I am going to click on this image, right? And then I'm going to come back over here and then type in the word div. So I'm going to put a div in here. All right, so you can see that div is here. I'm going to drag the menu item and the button into the div. After that, I'm going to click on the div and then go. Make sure when you do that, you still come back to layout because that was what we have selected for the previous section. So it's going to bring you back to layout. Then you can just click on flex, click on row, click on center, and then you can keep space in between. Nothing is happening now. We just have to fix a few things for this to really work. All right, we are almost done. I am going to save this, and then I'm going to go into the dashboard. When I go back into the dashboard, I want to install a plugin. Okay, I already have it here. So I want to import an SVG. So this SVG. So for me to do that, I'm going to go back into the editor and then make sure that I close That was a mistake. I'm going to go back into it. All right, so over here, I'm going to click on image, and then I'm going to set image, and then go back into my assets folder and import my logo. All right, for you to be able to import SVG, you need to install the SVG plugin. So that has been important. The next thing that I want to do is to work on my menu list. All right, so I'm going to save this again just to make sure. So make sure you selected the menu. And then after that, you can come back to, you can see that this is selected the settings, and then click here. I don't have any menu right now, so we have to add a menu. To do that, I'm just going to click on create menu. And I'm going to give this one menu main or main menu, whatever you want to call that, and then create it. So I'm going to quickly, I'm going to change this one to assets, and then I'm going to remove that. The next thing that I want to do is, right now it's just a test, so I'm not going to create these pages. I'm just going to keep them at link. So about as blog, FAQs, and stuff like that. So I'm going to give the hash and then give this one about us. The next thing is blog. That was a mistake, total mistake. The name should be blog. The next thing should be hash and then FAQs. And then the next, but not the last one is contact. All right, so after that, these are the mini items that I need. I'm just gonna click on save. All right, let's come back into quickly. This is save. I'm just gonna refresh the page. All right, and then click on select menu over here, and then I have my menu now in this part. So you can see that we just imported the menu, which is pretty cool. I'm going to save that. All right, so we have done that. Let's do a bit with the button. So button is selected. The text that we need for the button is get started. All right, so I'm just going to paste the text in there, get started text. All right, that is good. Let's select the div, right? And then keep it a bit of gap, row gap. So let's do the column gap of 30 so we can see the difference between the two. We here assets. I've selected the menu list, and then in the menu list I can give this one a name called menu list. Menu list. That is good. All right, so that is good. The next thing that I want to do is to give this one a bit of spacing. So I'm going to click on main. When you click on main, you'll see color, size, and then you see also items. What you want to click on is size. Then when you click on size, you're going to see gap. So in the gap, I want to give this one 20 pixels. Okay, which is good. And then I'm going to save that. Yeah, we don't have to change. Color is good. Typography is what we might have to work on because this is not the fonts that we want to use. So what we can do is I am going to go into I'm going to upload a font. We're not going to cover that. I'm going to cover that in a different section. But if we want to change typography, you have to select it again and then come into settings. And then you can go into, not settings, but you can go into design. In the design section, you can see typography over here. You can give this one color that you want, a little black. And then you can come into font. And then in the font, you can give whatever font, like, you can give a font like space group text if you want. But let us not upload any fonts. Let's go through this easily. So space group text is what we're going to use over here. So that is selected. The font size that we are using here is 15. So to fix that, I'm just going to give it a 15 font size. That is good. Now let's work on the button a bit. So over here too, let's do the space with text. So that is good. And then the size for this is also 15. So let's give this one a 15. That is pretty good. All right. After doing that, what I want to do next is to keep it the whole spacing is a 10 on the top, 16 and on 10. All right, so to do that, I'm going to go into margin and pattern. Then in here, we're going to say that the top is 10. Okay, so everything just turned to 10, but here should be 16 and then 16, which is good. Background color is a full black. So I'm going to go back into background color. Over here, I'm going to choose black, and then that is good. And then for typography, come on, typography, text, I want to do this one white, which is pretty good. And then I also want to create my border radius. So by clicking on this border, you see the radius is here. I'm going to give this one a 6. All right, so when we click outside, you can see that we have that. The next thing that I want to do is to give this a bit of spacing. So to do that, make sure you consider our section is selected. Let's go into margins and pattern, unlock this, and then at the top, I want to give this one, let's say 15, and then the bottom to 15. We can give the left and right, like, let's give everything 15, right? Everything 15, which is good. So we have like full, everything works like that. So over here, you can see that this has gone out of frame. Make sure that your section is selected. And then we can go into global. Nah, that does not do that. All right, so over here, we can go back into size. And then for size, we can give you like 100, 100%. It will be 100% when it comes to things like tablets and other stuff like that. Then we can also go back into mobile. Consider mobile is also 100%. We are going to fix this when we come in because we don't want this to show. All right, let's go back into desktop. We have things are coming out nicely. All right, so what we're going to do next is to work on adding our icon. So over here, make sure that is selected. The button is selected, and then you can come into icon. In the icon, make sure icon is active, and then make sure you can keep you have like size and space. You can give it a size of, let me go back here. See what's the size of this icon. Height is 14 pixels, so you can give it 14 pixels and give it so, and then click on icon, and then let's look for arrow. I don't like font awesome, so I'm just going to use whatever this name S, and then look for an arrow. Arrow going to the right. Arrow going into the right. All right, so this, and then instead of having it before, we can have it after. Then we can give it a space. So let me go back here, and now the space is 6 pixels. So I'll give it a space of 6 pixels, and that should be good. Right, you can give your button an ID. You can call it button menu. Then that should be good, and then you can give the button, then that should be good too. All right, so we are almost done with what we have here. We are going to try and make it responsive now. Making it responsive comes with a bit of work, but it's going to be fun, trust me. All right, so to make it responsive, what we need is we need a button, and then we need a pop-up. So the pop-up is the one that is going to show the menu items when we need it. So we need a button, a pop-up, and then a close button. So first, let's add a button that is going to trigger the pop-up. All right, so let's click on this and then click on, we don't need a button, sorry, we need an icon. You can use a button too, but right now I'm going to use an icon. So I added an icon, and then you're going to drag into this that we have over here. And then in here, I'm going to go into, make sure that your icon is selected. And then after that, I'm just going to go into icons. And then over here, I'm going to click on that. Then I can change from font awesome to, let's say, the regular tone over here. And then I'm just going to go down and look for a hamburger sign. All right, so I'm going to use this one here. That looks good. So I'm just going to use that. So when I click on that, you might not see anything. The next thing that you want to do is to give, I'm going to give the size of, let's say 36. That is good. If you want to change the color, you can change the color by going to colors. You can give it like a background color and change the color to whatever color that you want. But black is good for me, so I'm going to use that. And yep, and that should be good for this icon. Let's keep the icon trigger. or menu trigger. Let's call it menu trigger. Do that. Paste it over here. You need to give it a unique name so that you can remember. Someday you can remember. Let's call this a span. You can call it a button. Yeah, you call it a button. That is good. So that it semantically it is a good idea. All right, so we have this done. The next thing I'm going to do is a pop-up. So to add the pop-up, I'm going to make sure that I have my. I'm going to click here, and then you don't have to type in the pop-up. Go on and type in the pop-up. You're going to see something else. What you need is a modal. So the modal is over here. I came up when I type in pop-up. So when you click on the modal, it's going to come out like this. You can leave it right here. You don't have to put it inside the section. You can leave it right over here. And then make sure that the model is selected. And then after that, go to design. In design, you're going to look for size. Here, you're going to change this one to percentage. This one also to percentage. Give it 100%. And also give it 100%. All right, nothing is happening. We are going to change the color, background color to, let's say a white. So we have the background color white, and I'm just going to save that. All right, that is good. So right here, we are close to finishing. So the next thing that I am going to do is to add in the menu list. All right, so I'm going to click back over here and then type in the menu, and then just drag this here. So it pops into the model, and I'm going to click on select, and then go to primary. And then over here, I'm just going to select my main menu, and it comes in like that. The next thing that I'm going to do is to click back on the model, and then in the model, I'm going to go to design and then look for layout. I want my layout to be flex, and then I want it to be in this direction, which is columns, and then I want it to be centered, and I also want it to justify the center like that, and everything should be okay. All right, so go back into and click the menu, go into primary, and then make sure that there's a vertical, and then let's go into main, and let's go into size, and then you can give it a gap of, let's say, 30 pixels, maybe too much, 20 pixels. That should be good. If you want to give it padding, you can give it padding on the left and the right. You can give it also margin, but this is good for what we are doing. The next thing that I want to do is to work on my typography. So click on type, and then space, or this color, sorry. So make sure you come to font in space with text, and then that is good. And we can give it probably this one, even like a 24. That is fine. The weight, you can give it like 600. Yeah, that should be good. Nothing else. We can make sure this is none, and this is also none. And that should be fine. Come back into primary tags, and then give this one also navigation. That should work. And then you can give this one menu pop-up list. You can give this one menu pop list. All right, so that should be good for the name, whatever we need here. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is to, now we have an icon that can trigger this pop-up. Now we need an icon that can also, trigger the closing. So make sure modal is selected. Click over here and then click on icon. Make sure you bring it back into here, so like that. Click back on the modal and then go into layout, and over here I'm going to give this one 30 pixels for the row. Then click back over here and then go into icon selected, go into icon, click on the icon list. We are going to look for a cross, a times sign. So that is that. Give it a size of let's say 24. And then over here, I'm going to go into margin, give me like a pattern of, let's say 10. So after doing that, go back into color with the color background. We're going to give it a red. That is fine. And then I'm going to go into border and then give it a radius of 25. So click out. Everything looks good. All right, that is good. We are almost there. Don't worry. Now we want to make sure that we set up the click that can close and the click that can open. To do that, I'm going to select the icon that we have over here. And then we're going to go into, you can see primary. If you're in design, you must see it, but you have to come back into primary and then click on this link. All right, so when you click on this link, now what we want to do is change the URL to action. And then in action, you're going to say modal. In modal, the type, what we want to do is open. And then what do we want to open? We want to open this modal. So I'm going to go back into modal, right? And then copy that. All right, so we can give the modal menu for the ID. So I've copied, let me copy it again. So modal has been copied. Go back and click on the icon, click on this, and then paste in that, which is good, and then save it. So that is how we are going to trigger the modal. The next thing is to close the modal. To do that, we want to select this icon, change the icon into icon close, and then also come here, icon close. All right, so to do that, make sure the icon is selected, and then click, make sure you're in primary so you can see this link. Click on the link, move this onto action, and then modal, and then close, and then put in what we want to close, which is modal menu. All right, and then we close that. So we are almost there. We have created all the triggers that we need. The next thing that I want to do is to click back on the modal, right? And then I'm going to go into the trigger. I'm going to leave whatever that is here, but I want to go into animation. In animation, what I want to do is to give it, when you click on the icon, you want it to come in. So to do that, we are just going to do a slide up, and then give this one a slide up is good. You can give it like 1 second, but let's give it 0.5 to make it a bit faster. Yeah, and we should be fine with that. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that when this we don't have to show this when we are in the desktop. So let's click on the icon, and then we want to go into design. In design, you want to go into layout. In layout, you want to make sure that this is none. After that, don't click anywhere. Go and then click on the tablet mode. In the tablet mode, make sure you click on flex, so it to show again, to show on mobile and then on tablet too. We're going to fix what is wrong here. All right, and then we have to go back into our desktop. In desktop mode, we want to show this, but in tablet mode, we do not want to show it. So what we are going to do is we have selected our menu list, and then make sure that we still in layout. We want to make sure this is none, and then save it. All right, and then we are going to go into mobile. You can see that now everything is fully responsive. So what we are going to do now is to test out our menu that we have built. All right, one thing that I want to do is to change the color of this. I don't like the color. Go back to Figma. Click on top asset. I want to give it color like the background. And so make sure I'm going to background, and then hash, put this over there. All right, that is good. And I'm just gonna save it. So let's go, and so this is done. You don't have to do right after you finish. You can close it because you are totally done. I want to go back into the back and then let me trash this, right? And then I am going to add, let's say, a new page over here. And then at this new page, you don't have to put anything, but I'm just going to type in, let's say, paragraphs. And then I want to look for some to get some. It's a random text. So I just want to copy some random text so I can create a quick page. Come here, copy everything in here, and then go into our page, and then paste what we have over here. Yeah, and then publish it. All right, so let's visit the page. All right, so we have this page created. So you have this page created. We have our menu sitting nicely like that. I'm going to click on F12, and then I'm going to change this one into mobile. This thing is covering it. What I am going to do is copy this and then go into calculator mode. All right, so we have this, and then click on F12. All right, so now you can see that we do have our menu working like that. So when you click on this, our model comes out, and click here, close it, click here, open it, click here and close it, click here and open it, click here and close it. And then our menu is also responsive. So this is how you go about creating a menu in Gutenberg using a toolkit like Cwicly. It was fun. There are a few things that you might have to get along. You might have to like keep an eye on to make sure that what you build is pretty responsive. But that is how you create a responsive header using Cwicly and also using Gutenberg. All right, so if you found this video educative, educative is the word. If you found the video educative, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also give me your comment about using Gutenberg and then using a toolkit like Cwicly to also build what you need. And if you also love the video, you can give it also this channel a subscription. If you do subscribe to the channel, I'll be really pleased with that, and I'll make another video just for you. Yes, you. If you click on the subscription and also gives a thumbs up, I'm going to make a video just for you. All right, my name is Nyako. This is Obi Studios. Today we built a header in Gutenberg, and this is my first time, so I'm really pleased with that. Hope you did enjoy it. See you next time.